You want to know why you're still broke? Because you're waiting for a miracle instead of becoming one. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's handing you capital. And nobody cares about your excuses. The world only respects results. This is the era where people are building empires from a cracked phone screen while others are still crying about resources. If you've got $0, good. Because today I'm about to show you how the hungriest people on the planet turn nothing into everything and how you can do the same starting right now. Get ready. This isn't motivation. This is a mindset overhaul for people who are done playing small. Listen to me. Your resources aren't your problem. Your excuses are. Every time you complain about what you don't have, you're giving up the only thing that actually builds wealth, your hustle. People love crying about their limitations because it makes them feel justified for staying exactly where they are, stuck, broke, and dreaming instead of doing. But here's the truth nobody wants to admit. The marketplace doesn't reward victims. It rewards value, and value doesn't come from money, opportunities, or some magic external gift. It comes from effort, creativity, obsession, and relentless execution. You say you don't have equipment, you don't have connections, you don't have capital. Congratulations, neither did the majority of people who made it big. The difference, they didn't waste a single second crying about what they lacked. They squeezed every ounce out of what they already had. While others were complaining, they were creating. While others were blaming, they were building. While others were hesitating, they were executing. The people who win don't need perfect conditions. They win because they refuse to wait for them. You think the greats started with luxury setups and million-dollar networks? No. They started with old phones, borrowed laptops, shared rooms, hand-me-down tools, and YouTube tutorials. They built from the dirt. They built from the scraps. They built from nothing. Because nothing sharpens a winner like being forced to rely on hustle instead of comfort. Look at any powerhouse success story and you'll find the same pattern. Massive action, limited resources. Always. The guy with the perfect plan but zero action, loser. The guy with a messy plan but insane execution, dangerous, unstoppable, a threat. Because hustle multiplies everything it touches. You say you don't have money. Good. Money makes most people lazy. When you've got nothing, you become creative, sharp, hungry. You start thinking like a predator, not a pet. You say you don't have time? Lie. You're scrolling, chilling, sleeping in, drifting through days like you've got eternity to get rich. Winner snatch time. And they don't wait for it. You say you don't have support? Even better. Success tastes different when nobody believed in you. Let the doubt fuel you. Let the silence sharpen you. Let the lack push you harder. No support. Become self-made anyway. The marketplace respects only one thing. Results. Not stories. Not excuses. Not your situation. Results. And results are built by the one thing every single human being has equal access to. Hustle. Your hustle is your capital. Your hustle is your equipment. Your hustle is your marketing budget. Your hustle is the only resource that scales without permission. So stop crying about what you don't have, because you're wasting the very energy you need to build wealth. Shift the energy into action. Shift it into learning, selling, producing, showing up, pushing harder, staying later, waking earlier. Shift it into becoming the person who makes resources instead of begging for them. You want the truth? Here it is. The moment you stop complaining is the moment your life starts compounding. Winners don't make excuses. Winners multiply opportunities. Winners turn scraps into systems and systems into success. You're not broke because you lack resources. You're broke because you're not maximizing the ones you already have. Flip the switch. Go 10 times. Dominate the day. Outwork everybody in your lane. Prove to yourself and the world that hustle beats everything. Now get up, get focused, and go build something they can't ignore. Monetize your skill set before you chase investment. Stop fantasizing about investing when you don't even have income. Everybody wants to talk about stocks, crypto, real estate, passive income, but you can't. To invest if you don't even have a skill that earns you money in the first place. That's like trying to build a skyscraper on top of sand. Money doesn't come to people who dream, it comes to people who deliver. Listen, your first million won't come from some magical investment. It'll come from turning your skills into cash on command. That's the real starting point. People stay broke because they're obsessed with shortcuts. They want to skip the grind and jump straight to the rewards. But the market is ruthless. It pays for value, not daydreams. So if you're starting with $0, your number one mission is simple. Identify your strongest skill, package it, sell it, scale it. That's the formula. That's the foundation. That's how people with no money start creating money. You're good at talking. You're a salesperson. You're good at editing videos. You're a content sniper. You're good at organizing, teaching, coaching, fixing, designing, writing, analyzing. Congratulations. You've got a product. Now go sell it. Real money comes from execution, not intention. From clients, not fantasies. From offering solutions, not waiting for opportunities. You don't need a shop. You need a service. You don't need capital. You need consistency. You don't need a fancy brand. You need one customer who pays you one. That one customer proves your skill has value. 10 customers prove your skill has demand. 100 customers prove your skill can scale. You want wealth? Start where? Every self-made person starts with what's already in your hands. People with $0 only have one fast lane. Become so damn valuable that people want to pay to get access to what you do. And don't get soft. The marketplace doesn't care about how passionate you are. It cares about whether you can solve a problem, save someone time, grow someone's business, or make someone's life easier. That's value. And value prints money even if you're starting empty-pocketed. Your skill is your startup. Your hustle is your investor. Your execution is your capital. Stop looking for funding. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for miracles. Look in the mirror. That's your first money machine. You don't need more resources. You need to become more resourceful. Turn your skill into service. Turn your service into demand. Turn your demand into income. Then and only then start talking about investments. Earn first. Scale next. Grow forever. Leverage platforms. Not wallets. Stop acting like you're broke because you don't have money. In today's world, being broke is not an excuse. It's a mindset problem. You're living in the only era in history where you can build a business, create influence, attract customers, make money without spending a single dollar, but instead of leveraging platforms, most people are wasting them. Let me hit you with the truth. Your phone is the greatest wealth building tool ever created, and you're using it to scroll, laugh, and kill time. You don't need an office. You don't need a storefront. You don't need employees. You don't even need inventory. You need platforms, the new currency of domination. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. These are not apps. They're marketplaces. They're megaphones. They're distribution machines that take your message, your skill, your product, your hustle, and blast it to the world for free. People complain about not having exposure while sitting on platforms that can reach billions, millions for $0. You know how insane that is? 20 years ago, you'd have to pay TV, radio, billboards, newspapers just to get attention. Now attention is free, and you're still broke because you refuse to use it. If you're starting with zero money, your first weapon is content. Not perfect content. Not cinematic content. Not expensive content. Consistent content. Content that shows your skill, delivers value, solves problems, and gets attention. Because attention is the new oxygen. If no one knows you, no one can pay you. Simple. So drop the perfection, drop the fear, drop the I don't know where to start, record, post, repeat. Every day. You're not trying to impress people. You're trying to get in front of people. This is how real players do it. They use platforms as their leverage. They turn short videos into clients. They turn DMs into deals. They turn consistency into demand. And let me tell you something brutal but true. If you refuse to use social platforms, you're choosing to stay invisible. Invisible people don't get paid. Visible people get opportunities, customers, partnerships, reach, credibility, everything you claim you want. You want to build wealth from zero, then attack the platforms like your life depends on it. Show up daily, sell daily, educate daily, provide value daily. Because every post is a seed, and seeds turn into income when you plant enough of them. You don't need a wallet to win. You need Wi-Fi. You need courage. You need hustle. And you need to use the tools sitting in your hand right now. Turn your phone into your business partner. Turn your platforms into your marketing team. Turn your content into your cash flow. Platforms, wallets, attention, money, hustle, everything. Master sales. The skill that prints money if you're broke, it's not because you lack money. It's because you lack. Sales, ability sales, is the one skill that can drag you out of poverty, out of excuses, out of limitations, and straight into opportunity. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. When you can sell, you become unstoppable. Sales is the real superpower. Not money, not luck, not resources. Sales. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. The marketplace doesn't pay the smartest person. It pays the person who can convert, the person who can pitch, the person who can persuade, the person who can turn "I'm thinking about it" into "where do I pay?" Sales is how every self-made winner started. From scratch, from zero, from nothing. Because when you can sell, you never stay broke. You never stay stuck. You never stay dependent. You don't have a product. Sell someone else's product. You don't have experience. Sell your determination, your speed, your ability to solve problems. You don't have customers. Start talking to people. Start DMing. Start pitching. Start offering. Everybody wants passive income, but nobody wants to learn the one skill. That creates active income, which then becomes passive income later. You want freedom? Sell. You want opportunity? Sell. You want leverage? Sell. Sales is not talking, it's transfer of confidence. It's you saying, "I believe in what I do so strongly that you'd be stupid not to work with me." That's 10 times energy. That's the energy that breaks doors down and creates wealth out of thin air. Sales makes everything grow. No money. Sales gets you money. No clients. Sales gets you clients. No visibility. Sales forces you to be visible. No confidence. Sales builds confidence because you get rewarded for action, not excuses. The biggest myth in the world is that you need money to start making money. Wrong. You need sales to start making money. The minute you learn how to close deals, how to communicate value, how to solve problems, how to persuade, you start printing income on demand. Let me make it simple. If you cannot sell, you cannot scale. Period. You want to change your life, don't read 100 books. Don't meditate for 3 hours. Don't wait for motivation. Learn how to sell, then do it daily. Pitch your service, pitch your skill set, pitch your offer, pitch yourself. You're not annoying. You're building a future. You're not bothering people. You're giving them solutions. You're not being pushy. You're being persistent. And guess what? The world respects persistence. The world pays closers. The world rewards those who ask for the deal instead of hoping for the deal. Sales is the engine, sales is the fuel, sales is the difference between dreaming and earning. Master sales, and you'll never be broke another day in your life. Everybody can get motivated for 10 minutes. Motivation is cheap. It's everywhere. Videos, quotes, speeches, reels, all of it. But you know what's rare? What's powerful? What actually builds wealth from zero? Consistency. Relentless, boring, ruthless consistency. The reason people stay broke is simple. They show up only when they feel like it. Champions show up especially when they don't. Motivation is an emotion. Consistency is a decision. And decisions build empires. You think people who win are more talented, more educated, more connected. Wrong. They're more consistent. They kept pushing long after others got tired. They kept creating long after others got distracted. They kept building long after others quit. While you're waiting for the right mood, someone else is getting rich off your hesitation. Let me tell you something hard but true. Consistency beats intensity every single time. You don't need to work like a maniac once a month. You need to work with discipline every day. Even when it's not exciting, not fun, not inspiring. You don't get wealthy by doing big actions once. You get wealthy by doing small actions 1,000 times, posting daily, pitching daily, learning daily, selling daily, improving daily, following up daily. That's how you build momentum. And momentum is how you dominate. The broke mindset says, "I tried, it didn't work." The 10 times mindset says, "I'll do every day until it works. And then I'll do even more." Consistency is the gap between the life you have and the life you want. It's the bridge between beginner and expert, between broke and wealthy, between dreaming and earning. You want to build wealth from zero. Then commit to being the most consistent person in the room, the one who shows up no matter what, rain or shine, motivated or tired, inspired or drained. You show up, because showing up is how you separate yourself from everyone else who's too soft, too distracted, too emotional, too busy. Here's the truth most won't swallow. You don't need more talent. You need more discipline. Talent is a bonus. Discipline is a weapon. Consistency compounds. Every post builds your brand. Every pitch sharpens your skill. Every video improves your message. Every day adds weight to your presence. And eventually, the marketplace pays attention. People respect consistency because it proves you're serious. It proves you're committed. It proves you're a closer, not a talker. When you become consistent, you become inevitable. And nobody can compete with someone who refuses to disappear. So stop chasing motivation, build discipline. Stop waiting for the right moment, create it. Stop hoping for results, earn them every single day. Consistency is the engine that turns your $0 into unstoppable momentum. You don't rise when you're inspired, you rise when you're committed. Be the one who doesn't quit, be the one who doesn't slow down, be the one who shows up every single day. Reinvent your identity from broke thinker to wealth creator. Let's get real. You will never build wealth with the same identity that kept you broke. You can change your habits, your routines, your schedule, but if you don't change who you believe you are, nothing sticks, nothing scales, nothing grows. Because your identity is the operating system running everything in your life. And most people walk around with a broke. OS installed, I can't do it. I don't have enough. I'm not ready. I'm not that type of person. I'll start later. That mindset is poverty disguised as logic. And until you completely destroy it, your hustle will never convert into wealth. You don't rise to your goals, you rise to the level of your identity. You want to build wealth from zero, then you need to delete the version of yourself that makes excuses and upgrade into the version that creates results. Winners don't wait for permission. They don't overthink. They don't negotiate with fear. They operate with a simple identity. I create money. I create opportunity. I create momentum. The moment you internalize that identity, everything changes. Your actions change. Your confidence changes. Your speed changes. Your results change. Because when your identity is aligned with success, you no longer need motivation. You act automatically, aggressively, instinctively. Look around. Every self-made millionaire had to reinvent themselves before they reinvented their bank account. They had to stop seeing themselves as broke, unlucky, limited, stuck, and start seeing themselves as someone who deserves to win, who works to win, who expects to win. That shift is not optional. It is the foundation. The person you are today can't reach the life you want tomorrow. You need to evolve. You need to upgrade. You need to kill off the weak identity and replace it with a disciplined, hungry, obsessed one. When you see yourself as a wealth creator, you make different decisions, you stop wasting time, you start building systems, you stop complaining, you start executing, you stop fearing judgment, you start taking territory, you stop hoping, you start demanding results from yourself. Identity drives behavior, behavior drives results, results create wealth. This is why thinking big isn't just motivational fluff. It's the trigger that changes who you become. When your identity says, I'm unstoppable, your action can't be timid. When your identity says, I'm built for more, your standards rise. When your identity says, I'm a closer, you stop hesitating and start dominating. And let me tell you this with full force. The most expensive thing in your life is a weak identity. It costs you opportunities. It costs you time. It costs you money. It costs you your future. So today, right now, you choose. Stay the person who complains, doubts, delays, hesitates, or become the person who creates wealth out of pure hunger and execution. Reinvent your identity. Rewire your self-belief. Rewrite your expectations. When you change who you are, you change what you do. When you change what you do, you change what you earn. And when you change what you earn, you change your entire life. This is how wealth starts from zero. Not from money, but from identity.